Hi knitters, this is episode 2 of The Guilty Knitter, and this is my faithful hound Monty, who I forgot to introduce last time. We're sporting his handmade sweater, which I made it quite a while ago now, and it's starting to need replacing. Yeah, he's really just putting up with me right now, I'm afraid. But normally, he's always here, so even if you don't see him, you can just imagine he's sitting beside me at all times. Pretty much is. Poor little dude. Whenever I do anything, I settle in to do anything like practicing in my practice room, and he comes and sits beside me, settles into his bed, and 2 seconds later I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot my glasses. So I get up and I walk to the next room to look for my glasses, and sure enough, as I come back, I see him trotting along behind me. And so I go back to my room, and he comes back and he sits down, and then, you know, this happens about 10 times a day, various rooms of the house, and it's quite funny, but I always feel kind of bad for him. Poor dude. He seems very patient about it, though. It doesn't seem to bother him at all. He just looks at me like, oh, she's doing this again, and it doesn't seem to bother him. He's very patient, I guess. Anyway, I'm looking forward to showing you some more of my things today. It's kind of a gloomy day, and I must apologize in advance because there are going to be quite a lot of edits and splices in today's episode. I'm actually recording this way after the fact of all the other stuff. So, well, bear with me, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the episode. Happy knitting. Yeah. On the roster today, I have several, well, actually not very many. I have a couple of finished objects, and I'm going to start with this that I'm wearing, which I talked about last time. It's the Clark pullover. Can't really see it very well. Let me just stand up. It goes down just perfectly to my waist, split hem. It worked out really, really well. Excuse me, I'm wearing my reading glasses today. Makes me look a little more serious, probably. Well, maybe not, because they're red. I actually bought these at a truck stop in Italy, which you might find amusing. So there, I finished the Clark a few days ago, and of course I've been wearing it every single day since then. It seems to be a theme. It seems to be a practice of mine. I really loved it. I had so much fun, and it knit up really well. I was really happy with the neckline. It worked out well. I took, picking up the stitches around a large opening like that can be challenging. And I had to try it a few times, but I think it really, really worked well finally. And yeah, it's the perfect size. I like it a little bit more open than like a real crew neck up to here. This is almost a boat neck, I guess. And one of the sleeves I only started the second ball of the confetti, which is this pinky stripe. I only started it on this sleeve. I'm pretty sure it's this sleeve. And I thought for a minute that the colorway was quite different. I mean, even it's the same dye lot, but sometimes with hand-dyed yarns, they can vary quite a bit anyway. And it seemed to me that it was a much darker ball of yarn with less white, quite a bit of white in these stripes here. But I don't think you notice. Certainly not, kind of casual glance. It's not obvious. So I'm very happy with that. So yeah, so that's one thing. So that's done. I think I mentioned last time, but I'll mention it again. This is the Tanis Fibre Arts lemongrass colorway, the green, and Artful Americana, I think it is, in the confetti colorway, which is it's so beautiful in the in the ball. Isn't that something? Look at that. Oh, I'm so glad I have all this left so I can do something else. This is a DK weight yarn, so I'm going to find something. And I have quite a bit. I have about 2 of these size balls left of the lemongrass too, so who knows what I'll do with that, but I'm looking forward to figuring it out. So next on my parade of things, oh, forgot. Hi. Yes, I finished my Baa-ble mitts that I told you about last time that I really wanted to knit to match my hat. And I had a couple of interesting things happen, partly because I was probably, well, I know I was knitting while watching Netflix and drinking wine, so yeah, there were a couple of problems. Not really problems, just different things. I will look at the cuffs, for instance. Yes, I did 1 and 2 by 2 and 1 and 1 by 1. Oh well, there you go. I decided it wasn't worth ripping back. If it was for a gift, I would, but no. I thought, nah, I'll just go as it is. And what else did I think? Oh, when I finished them, I looked at them and I thought, oh, how did I make that mistake? Because I didn't realize that she had set up the color work so that they're actually different on the back. That's the way it's supposed to be. I guess I assumed they would both be the same, but this is how they're supposed to be. And yeah, it's fine. It's kind of cute that way. What else did I do? There was some little thing. Yeah, so like, what was the other thing that I messed up on these mitts? Oh yeah, this is a cautionary tale for anyone who is doing an afterthought thumb on a pair of mitts. It's not the same as doing an afterthought thumb on a pair of socks. It does not work as well when you don't put your waste yarn in, which I forgot to do on the first mitten. And you can see that I didn't have nearly enough yarn to weave in, and so I've got these little bits that are now already popping out after about a week's use. So I'm hoping it's not going to completely fall apart. I don't know what I'm going to be able to do about that, but be sure you put in your waste yarn for the afterthought thumb. That's anyway, they turned out beautifully. Other than that, despite the wine and the Netflix. Oh, it's a little funny shape. The middle part here goes in because of the color work, I guess. I haven't blocked them yet, and also the white, or the ecru colorway of that's the Falkland Islands merino that I used, and it's not as heavy a yarn as the Cascade Eco for the Peruvian yarn, which is the green or the teal Pacific colorway actually, and it goes, and it's double stranded too, so it is quite a bit thicker, but it's fine. I thought it would just add to the warmth. You know, what I really wanted was a nice warm pair of mitts, but actually, no matter how dense you make them, I find mitts, they always need a bit of a liner because the wind will go through them. So I do have a little black pair of gloves inside to keep them super warm. Makes all the difference. But anyway, I love them. They're great. So that's that. I did mention to you last time that I had started a third Stephen West shawl, which I was the 2017 mystery knit along, and I didn't get all the way to the end. It's a really massive shawl, a lot of stitches on the needles, and I think I just got a bit daunted. Well, you don't know what you're doing when you first start, right? I've never done a mystery knit-along before. And it was really, I mean, the beginning was fine, although it took a little getting used to the pattern. But this took me forever. And this was supposed to be, I forget whether it was 1 week or 2 weeks, I can't remember, but it took me like a month and a half or something. And I was working at it pretty steadily. I guess I'm not very fast. Anyway, of course, as usual, I picked colors that are a bit nuts, but I'm actually quite happy with the result. And when I got to the end of this first section, I thought, yeah, I'm done. I don't think I need to do any more, because actually it works just fine as a scarf. You don't need to add the other 2 or 3 sections. Yeah, it's totally fine. And I like the fact that there's black on one end and light blue on the other. It's kind of fun. I don't think I'll tell you all the colorways, all the yarns that are in there, but this pink is I think it's Hedgehog Fibers Jelly colorway sock yarn. I love that. I've got it right here. Thinking of using it for something else now. Oh, it's kind of not quite the color. Yeah, that's more like it. Yeah, it's a really bright pink. And anyway, I've got tons of different things in here. I've got some of this, which is I think that's Hedgehog Fibers also, if I'm not mistaken, in these singles, skinny singles, and pollen colorway, pretty sure. And there's an Art-Filled Bell in the Peridot colorway. I used that, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Anyway, if you check my Ravelry project page, it's all written there. All the things are written there. OSMViv, OSMVIV is my handle on Ravelry and on Twitter, actually, which I don't use very much, but you know, it's there. Yeah, I think the thing that kind of discouraged me from continuing this is that apparently when you get to the edge, like the very edge of it, like the last section, you end up with something like 800 stitches on your needles, over 800 stitches, and I was like, oh, thank you. You know, I haven't done that many shawls, and the last shawl I did, the biggest shawl I think the most stitches I ever had on the needles was for my exploration station, and that was 470 something, and that was plenty. I really liked that, but it was a lot. And I thought, no, I think maybe another. I can always add it later if I get inspired. But right now, no, not going to do it. Well, I was going to share this pattern here, which I knit as a test knit last year. Now, this is not a new finished object, but it's quite a nice hat. It's called the Winter's Path hat. And I forget the name of the designer, but I'm going to write it. I'll write it right here when I find out. And my friend gave me this beautiful pom-pom for Christmas. She's another avid knitter, and this pom-pom you can just tie onto any hat, so I can use it for any other hat that I'm planning on making. Yeah. This hat ended up being kind of big on me, but like if you wear it like this, it's like way too big. But I suppose you could use it as a slouchy, but I don't think that style's really great on me. So I just curl up the brim, and then it's perfect. Very warm, and it's the same combination that I used for my gloves. You see that matches. Of course, it's a different dye lot, but pretty sure. Oh, this might be a different color that I stranded it with. Yeah, it was a different shade of Shibui Silk Cloud, or yeah, I think that's what it's called. So that's why it looks a bit different, but actually they're very similar. It's okay, so that's that. Oh yeah. Sorry while I slurp my tea. Bengal Spice by Celestial Seasonings, I think. Love this tea, super good. Okay. I want to show you that I'm making this. I've decided on a hat for this gorgeous yarn that I have here. This is, I'm doing this out of order, but anyway, this is Tanis Fibre Arts and their new Pure Wash DK, and it's the green light colorway. And this is Shibui Silk Cloud and Pool, I think it is. Pool colorway. And I just think they're going to look great together. And I'm going to make this hat here, which is the Kabook by Caitlin Hunter. Can you see that? That's really nice, right? And I think it's going to be perfect because it calls for DK stranded with a mohair. And so I'm really excited. I already bought the pattern and everything. I haven't done very many Caitlin Hunters, maybe none. I don't know. There's been such a lot of her patterns have been so popular. The Sunset Highway and there's a few of them that have been really popular, but I haven't quite found myself attracted enough. And for me, a pattern has to really speak to me, especially something big like a sweater or a shawl. If it doesn't really draw me in, and I don't know, you have to kind of listen to your inner voice, you know, not let yourself be talked into something that everybody loves, so you're going to do it. I don't know. I try not to get myself sucked into what's popular because it's not always what I like. I mean, sometimes it can be beautiful, but just doesn't speak to me, and that's fine. So I like to choose my projects carefully so that I'm going to really enjoy them, because that's a lot of time, that you put into something, and I want to make sure I'm going to be happy with it. You see that I snazzed up my background a little bit because I thought it was so boring before. I also changed the camera angle. Maybe it's a little better. Got my Van Gogh here. Yeah, it's a real Van Gogh. No, not really. And this is my Vertices Unite beautiful shawl back here, just hanging out and being beautiful. All right, so back to works in progress, or on to works in progress, I should say. I'm doing a test knit for my friend Naomi, who is Knitthesundown on Instagram. And she's doing she's about to put out a pair of socks, a pattern for a pair of socks, and I've started them. Look how cute they are. This is yarn I've had for a while. It's called Cloudborn sock yarn. It's an 80-20 merino nylon mix, and I believe I bought this on Craftsy, on the Craftsy website. It's quite a nice soft yarn. I don't know, it's a nice colorway, and the it's called, I believe, I wrote it down, hold on, it's called Stormy Skies, which is an apt name for this colorway. And her socks are going to be called Humble Socks, and not because of the word humble, but because it was her grandmother's maiden name. Interesting tidbit. And she got the idea for the socks from her grandmother, who was a great knitter. And so it's going to be lots of cables and stuff on the socks. So I thought a nice plain color like this would really show them up, and that's what I'm hoping. Anyway, so that's that. I'm really looking forward to getting that done. She wants them done or at least one done by the end of January. I'm hoping for the best on that. I think I can do it. I'll see. All right, and another thing that I have made progress on since Saturday, since I last did a little bit of filming, is this little sock, which I'm doing as a test knit for my friend Naomi, who is Knitthesundown on Instagram. You see that nice cable there in the middle, and there's this bit of moss stitch here. It's really quite a fun little knit, and now that I've memorized it, it's going pretty quickly. I think Naomi might have a podcast there somewhere on YouTube. I think it might be called Knitthesundown. I think I remember watching at least one episode, so you can check her out if you search for that. So I promised my husband that I was going to get right on his Cathedral Grove cardigan as soon as I was finished my own pullover, my Clark pullover. Well, I have worked on it, but I wouldn't say that I've made a huge amount of progress since a week ago when I last podcast. It's coming along though. There we go. There's the front and the back. I'm working on the left front now. And it's really going well. I think it's going to be really nice. I'm really pretty psyched about it. I just hope it won't be too small. That's my only problem with it, my only worry. But it's a very nicely written pattern. I think I mentioned that last time. It's by Josée Paquin, who is a Canadian designer. I think she's out in BC. And I always like to support Canadian designers and makers if I can. And it's certainly cheaper to, well, in terms of buying things, let's say online, it's cheaper to get them through Canada than to get them in from the States, or even from the UK. It's not bad from the UK though. I don't understand why, but it's a lot more expensive to, like, I guess the customs, the duty and all that is expensive going over the border, which is no fun. I mean, they are our nearest neighbors and our closest allies probably, although right now, God knows, we know what's going on down there. It's a bit crazy. Let's not go into that. This is not a political podcast. We won't be talking about Trump. And I'm sure you're very happy about that. Okay, so that's that. I have not made much progress on my Cathedral Grove, which I'm knitting out of Tuffy by Briggs & Little in their denim colorway. Quite pretty, eh? Yeah. And okay, now the next thing I'm working on, which is kind of a funny thing to talk about, but I made these Fiddlehead mittens, and it was really one of my first things I knit when I came back to knitting in 2014. I just, I loved the pattern, and I thought I have to knit some. So I did, and I made the inside in this gorgeous baby alpaca. And but then I hadn't really, I've only worn them for maybe a year or two, one winter, maybe 2 winters, I don't know. And I've got a hole in them right here. So I think I have a lot of this yarn, and I'm thinking I'm just gonna knit back. I'm just gonna go right back to here and knit back up. I hope it's not gonna be a problem, but because I do have, this as you can see is a joined lining, so I don't know. I think it'll be okay. Might be a little bit tricky weaving in the ends, but I figure there must be a way around that. I think that might be the best thing to do, because it's such a large, and it's kind of a large hole. I don't know. Maybe you have some better ideas. Is that even? I guess that's working out. You can see the hole. I don't know. But they are the most luscious mittens, and I totally recommend this knit. It's so much fun. I actually started a second pair right after I finished these, but I just didn't get to them because I didn't finish it. I don't know, I got distracted. And the sizing is a little funny. You see how they're not very long? I wish they were longer. I guess I could have added more like the plain color down here maybe. Maybe I would do that next time, because I would, you know, in our climate we need some coverage everywhere. Not just on the mitts, but on the everywhere, of course. I want to talk about what's in my queue, the things I'm looking forward to knitting. In fact, on Ravelry they have this challenge now that you can put in how many things you want to knit in 2017 or 2018. And so I wrote 15. I think that's fairly conservative, really. I should look back and see how many I did in 2017. I'm sure I did at least 15 things. I mean, if I want to make, let's say I want to make 4 sweaters. I already just finished one, which I worked on in 2018. I've got the Cathedral Grove. I want to make 2, if I make 2 more sweaters, that's totally doable. And maybe 1 to 3 shawls. I don't know how many shawls I'll do, because they do take me a long time. And at least 4 or 5 pairs of socks. And a couple hats. I mean, it's so easy to climb up to 15, I think. Right? 15 seems conservative. So I put 15. Well, one of them, the first one I'm going to talk about is the 3-color cashmere shawl, which I have on my handy dandy knit companion, which holds all my patterns on my iPad. Isn't that gorgeous? Hohi Locatelli is done that, and I think I might do it in the that's my phone going off. Hold on a minute. Pause. Okay. Yeah, so my plan is to make it out of these 3 colorways. Aren't they nice? Okay, this is one I used that in my, in this. Actually, did I use it? Yeah, I used it in my, did I? No, wait, I didn't use it in this. I used it in my exploration station. This is from my friend Annie at Knitting It Up. It's let me see now, Spirit School colorway in her Monklin base, which is just I think it's either a 75-25 or an 80-20 sock yarn. And this is Sweet Georgia Merino Silk Fine, or Fine. Isn't that beautiful? I love this colorway. It's blowing out a little bit. It's actually a little deeper than that. I don't know if you can sort of see it or not, but anyway, it's quite a beautiful lavender. And then this, which is another Cloudborn, I think that'll be nice. This will be kind of like the poppy color, although it doesn't pop as much as that green does. But I have, my other option might be this pink. I think that's a bit much. I've had so many crazy colored things that I think maybe I'm ready for something a little more tame. And I think this will be really nice. The other option, actually I have another option, but I'm not sure I have enough yarn, is this one. And it's very similar. Like, look how close these are. I can barely tell them. This one's a bit darker, I guess. And it's a totally different material. This is a single ply. Gosh, what is this? I'll have to write it down in the below here, because I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. But I know I used it in this in my Speckle and Pop shawl. It's one of the yarns in here. You'll see if I do put it in. I already did a little blurb about it and was wondering which color to go with. Well, I experimented with both colors. I first knit this little bit of the first section. See that? And I tried it using the red label, but I wasn't convinced. There was something I didn't like about it. With the purple, with the lavender. So I I tried again with this, and I think it's with the knitting it up, and I think it's a keeper. I really love the way that looks together. So that'll be that, and this is turning out to be a really fun pattern, and so far I really like Hohi's patterns. The way she explains things is very clear, and yeah, it's going to be fun. That's the 3-color cashmere shawl, so by Hohi Locatelli. I might even add, later on I might actually do a whole section in this just for fun, just because I really like this yarn. Okay, well, that's it for today, and I appreciate your patience with me with my great deal of splicing and editing. Maybe expertise was a strong word when I used it about my editing skills, but it should get better, and it's been really fun actually. It's such a creative challenge to do this, and way out of my comfort zone. So, and I realized after doing a lot of editing that I didn't even introduce myself. My name is Vivian, and I am the Guilty Knitter, which I did say. And if you need to find me on Instagram, I am at Guilty Knitter, and on Ravelry I am OSMVIV, as well as Twitter, if you ever need me on Twitter, which I never go on to Twitter, but you never know. I want to add one little addenda about my 3-colored cashmere shawl, which I went to Espace Chico yesterday and decided on a different color. Now this is turning out way more blue than it is. It's a very purple, it's very, very purple. And you can't really tell that at all, but it's Hedgehog Fibers Skinny Singles in their Purple Rain colorway. So it's gorgeous, and it's going to be lots of fun. And hopefully next time I'll have a little bit of that on my needles to show you. Okay, that's it, and happy knitting until I see you next time. Bye-bye. How you doing, Monty? Hey, buddy. Are you gonna say hi? Are you gonna say hi? No, eh?